What if you woke up tomorrow and the news told you this? A meteor, the size of the one that wiped out the dinosaurs, has been detected. It's heading directly for Earth. And it will hit in exactly 7 days. No way to stop it. No way to outrun it. 7 days. What would happen to the world? What would happen to the people in it? What would you do? This is not a movie. This is what would actually happen. It's a Tuesday. Normal Tuesday. Somewhere in the Chilean Andes, an astronomer at an observatory notices something unusual in the data. A small dot that wasn't there yesterday, moving fast, on a trajectory that his software immediately flags as concerning. He runs the numbers again. And again. Then he calls his supervisor. Within 6 hours, 3 other observatories have independently confirmed the same thing. The object is approximately 10 kilometers across, roughly the same size as the Chicxulub impactor that ended the age of the dinosaurs 66 million years ago. It is moving at around 20 kilometers per second. And unless the calculations are wrong, and multiple teams have checked them, it will enter Earth's atmosphere in exactly 7 days. The calls go to governments. The calls go to NASA, ESA, every major space agency on the planet. Within 12 hours, the most senior leaders in the world know. And for about 18 hours, they don't say anything publicly. Because the first question isn't scientific. It's political. Do you tell people? When? How? But the internet doesn't wait for press conferences. A leaked email from a junior researcher at one of the observatories appears on a forum at 2 a.m. Most people ignore it. A few don't. By morning, it's trending. The press conference happens at noon. Every major news channel carries it live. The UN Secretary General and a panel of scientists stand behind a podium. They confirm it. All of it. For about 30 seconds after the announcement ends, nothing happens. Then everything happens at once. Supermarkets are emptied within the hour. Not just food, water, medicine, fuel. Petrol stations run dry. ATMs empty. Stock markets don't just crash. They stop functioning entirely and are suspended. Airports fill with people trying to get somewhere anywhere. But where do you go? There is nowhere to go. The impact zone won't be confirmed for another 48 hours. The meteor's exact trajectory is still being refined. Which means no one knows which continent takes the direct hit. And the aftereffects, the shockwaves, the firestorms, the debris cloud, those will be global regardless. Governments begin emergency broadcasts. Stay calm. Stay home. Emergency services are being mobilized. Shelters are being prepared. Most people do not stay calm. Most people do not stay home. By day 5, something strange starts happening alongside the chaos. Yes, there is looting. Yes, in some cities the power grid has already failed because the workers who maintain it have left to be with their families. Yes, there are riots outside government buildings in capitals across the world. But there is also this. Hospitals are overwhelmed not with injuries but with volunteers. Thousands of people showing up and saying, "Tell me what to do, I want to help." Churches, mosques, temples, synagogues, every religious building on the planet is standing room only. Not just for prayer. For company. People who haven't spoken in years are suddenly sitting next to each other in pews. In New York City, someone sets up speakers in Central Park and plays music. Within 2 hours, 10,000 people are there. They don't know each other. It doesn't matter. Phones don't stop ringing. Not with panic, with voices. I love you. I'm sorry. I should have said that years ago. I'm coming home. An estimated 14 million people get married in the 48 hours after the announcement. Registrars work around the clock. In many countries, the paperwork is simply abandoned. Couples stand in streets and make promises to each other in front of whoever is nearby. By day 4, the impact zone has been confirmed. The meteor will hit somewhere in the North Atlantic Ocean, which means the direct blast will be ocean. But the tsunami it generates will reach every coastline in the northern hemisphere within hours of impact. And the debris cloud, the dust and ash thrown into the atmosphere, will begin blocking sunlight globally within weeks. The dinosaur killer didn't kill the dinosaurs with the impact itself. It killed them with what came after. Let's talk about what actually happens when a 10-kilometer rock hits the Earth at 20 kilometers per second. The moment of impact releases energy equivalent to roughly 1 billion nuclear bombs. The explosion is not an explosion in the way we picture one, it's more like the planet being punched through. A fireball expands outward at several thousand kilometers per hour. Everything within 1,500 kilometers of the impact point is incinerated in minutes. The shockwave circles the globe multiple times. The tsunami, a wall of water between 100 and 300 meters high, radiates outward from the impact zone. It reaches Ireland in about 40 minutes. The eastern coast of the United States in about 2 hours. Every coastal city within range, London, New York, Lisbon, Boston, Dublin, is submerged. But the worst part is slower. Billions of tons of dust, ash and debris are thrown into the upper atmosphere. Within weeks, this cloud begins to block sunlight globally. Temperatures drop. Crops fail. This is what killed the dinosaurs, not the impact, but the impact winter that followed. Months of near darkness. Collapse of the food chain from the bottom up. The question scientists are asked constantly in these final days is, could we have stopped it? The honest answer, if we had known years earlier, possibly. The technology exists in theory. Kinetic impactors, gravity tractors, even nuclear deflection. NASA's DART mission in 2022 proved we can change the trajectory of an asteroid. But not in 7 days. 7 days is not enough time. 7 days is just enough time to say goodbye. Something unexpected happens on the last day. The noise stops. Not everywhere, there are still places of chaos, fear, desperation. But in a strange way, for many people, the last day is the quietest one. Maybe because there is nothing left to panic about. The decision has been made, not by them, but for them. The meteor will hit at 3:47 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time tomorrow morning. The exact time is now known. People go outside. That's the thing that gets reported most consistently. They sit on their front steps. They lie in their backyards looking at the sky. Millions of people on rooftops in cities across the world, watching a sky that looks completely normal. The meteor itself is visible to the naked eye by now, a faint moving point of light that grows brighter hour by hour as it approaches. Amateur astronomers have been tracking it for days. On the last evening, it's bright enough to see without a telescope. Schools, many of which have stayed open because parents had nowhere else to bring their children, spend the day doing the things children asked to do. Drawing, singing, reading their favorite books out loud. In Tokyo, 100,000 people gather in silence on the waterfront. No speeches. No music. Just people, standing together, watching the sky. The last thing many people do is exactly what you'd expect. They hold someone's hand. At 3:47 a.m., the light begins. For anyone on the side of the Earth facing the impact point, the sky simply turns white. Not an explosion they hear first. Light they see first, faster than sound can travel, faster than anything. A flash visible from half the planet simultaneously. The shockwave follows minutes later. Then the heat. But here's something important. Not everyone dies at the same moment. The impact is catastrophic, but humanity is resilient in ways that are almost impossible to fully predict. Deep underground bunkers, built by governments over decades, survive. Submarines beneath the ocean survive. Remote locations at high altitude, far from coastlines, far from the initial firestorm, survive the first hours. The question that comes next, the question that actually matters, is what happens to the people who are still alive. Because here's what we know from the fossil record, life doesn't end. Not even after the Chicxulub impact 66 million years ago did life end. The dinosaurs died. But small mammals survived. Birds, which are technically dinosaurs, survived. Insects, plants, fish in the deep ocean, they survived. The impact winter lasts years. Perhaps a decade. But then it lifts. The sun comes back. And whatever is left of humanity, in bunkers, in submarines, in the highest and most remote places on Earth, begins to rebuild. 1,000 years later, impossible to predict. But life has survived 5 mass extinctions before this. The odds that it survives a 6th are better than you'd think. Here's the good news, by the way. We have actually built systems to prevent exactly this. NASA's Planetary Defense Coordination Office tracks thousands of near-Earth objects every single day. The European Space Agency has its own program. The DART mission in 2022 proved for the first time that we can physically change the course of an asteroid. Right now, as you watch this, there is no known asteroid on a collision course with Earth. The skies are clear. But the question this video is really asking isn't about meteors. It's about us. What would you do with 7 days? Who would you call? What would you finally say? Maybe you don't need a meteor to answer that. If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe. It genuinely helps more than you'd think. And if you want to see a follow-up, what happens to the survivors, how humanity rebuilds over the next 1,000 years after impact, drop that in the comments. If enough of you want it, that video is coming. Thanks for watching.